Hi, everyone. I'm joined by Tania Atkin, counseling psychology specialist and integrative fitness health life coach.
Right. So I have been a professional athlete since I was a little girl, originally a gymnast, and then went into women's fitness when I was about 19 years old. And I've been competing actually ever since. And I'm actually 50. So I did my last show recently in Las Vegas. So I am a pro women's athlete. I'm third in the world for women's fitness.
Amazing.
Um, what I mean, I have 4 degrees. I have 2 masters. I have a naturopathy degree from the US, and I also have a pre-med degree from the University of Toronto. So originally, I wanted to go into the medical model. I wanted to be a forensic pathologist, to be honest.
Yeah.
And like the medical model, what I didn't feel organically right for me. And I was noticing working in fitness from the time I was 16. I was teaching group fitness all through school, and then I got into personal training and training elite like NHLers and professional golfers, and men and women. So I've been training for a very long time. But what I noticed was a theme in the fitness industry and in fitness culture and with athletes, and that being limiting beliefs and a lot of self sabotage and a lot of mental health or mental illness type issues that I was counseling on the floor all the time. I wasn't personal training, I was counseling. I was looking at relational issues, I was looking at disordered eating patterns, I was looking at steroid use, I was looking at body image issues, a whole gamut of situations. So that's why I went back to do my master's in counseling psychology, because I felt there was like a really big gap in fitness where, you know, it doesn't matter if they're eating the broccoli and the chicken and the rice and doing all the right things.
Sure.
If their mindset isn't optimal,
Mhm.
balanced, rational, and if they're self-loathing and they're doing all these behaviors that are self-sabotaging, then they're not going to get the results that they're initially looking for. So I think that dealing with the underlying core issues will help anybody kind of excel in their physical body, right? Because thoughts are our software. So if our software is a little bit messed up, then physiologically, we are never going to be optimal, or we're not going to look lean, or we're not going to get the results that we need. We're not going to lose the weight. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to close that gap a little bit. Oh, such a good question. We were always taught to have to teach SMART goals, measurable, specific, time oriented. But like I take a different swing to it, because it the goals have to be realistic. They also have to be positively stated. So often we set goals to change behaviors forcefully. What happens is there has to be core values and values that underlie those goals, in my opinion. Also, these goals often are shame based. So shame often initially initiates that goal. Like, I feel crappy about myself, I want to lose weight. But well, why? Usually it's a negative thing. I hate the way that I look, so and so is not being nice to me, I can't have a relationship, whatever it might be. I feel like the goals have to be in line with your personal values, what's important to you. Number one. Number two, there has to be a positively stated goal, not a negatively stated goal, because then you're going against the grain. So your body and your brain are doing this all the time. The third thing is um, what do you want to access in your goal setting? Like, what is it that you want? Like, so what if you lose well, I don't know, 20 pounds? What are you going to be able to access in your life? Is it positive? What's that dream attached? And this is what I mean. So if I had a person come to me and say, I want to lose X amount of weight, I'm like, great. What's your lifestyle like? What's your history like? What is your current lifestyle like? Is it sustainable? Is it manageable? But the most important part is what do you want to access? Do you want to be able to travel more? Do you want to have connection with your partner? Do you want to be able to play with your children? There has to be a bigger dream attached to the goal, not I want to lose weight because I want to fit in my pants. Because the truth of the matter is that it sadly the person loses 40 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever it may be, and they don't change any of their habits. It's just kind of like very time specific. They don't like themselves 20 pounds lighter either.
That's
They don't
right.
like what they see in the mirror.
They don't
Nothing's
realize
changed.
that.
Nothing's changed, right? Because they haven't worked on the relationship with themselves and, accepting themselves at each point in the journey. They haven't maybe taken, like, I believe that you need to take micro action steps, like micro, like, I'm going to try drinking more water this week. And then we habit stack, right? As opposed to like an all or nothing type of, approach where it's just going to make them fail. And then they're going to be set back in a worse shame and guilt spiral. Me as an athlete, I am I'm always very prepared with a very big team of professionals that are all in line with my ability to self heal and optimize and balance my health. So I always have people like yourselves, like I have a naturopath on staff, I have an integrative doctor, I have an endocrinologist, I have, a biofeedback girl I see. So I'm constantly every 6 months doing blood runs. I'm doing Dutch tests. I'm making sure that I'm optimal because let's get real. Women's fitness, as we can how do I say, make it seem cute and pretty, but it's super unhealthy. Like to get to 6, 7% body fat, it's not a sustainable thing. It's a sport, right? So I have to make sure I can come in and out of it
Sure.
both emotionally, mentally, and physically the best I can. And I think that's why I've been able to do it for 33 years because I have a team always, right? So, same with the people that I work with, I will always have a network of people. If it's out of my scope, I would refer out to someone like you, or I would refer out to my endocrinologist, or I always have a staff that is on board with me.
Yeah.
I think people who have worked with me in the past know that I'm a huge proponent of rest days, mandatory rest days, mandatory recovery, active recovery days. I'm about, you know, making progress, but slowly and for long term, right? For long term success. I don't yes, there are moments where we have to like if say it was for a photo shoot, yes, we have to do some drastic cuts and it's for a short period of time and
Yeah.
then we reverse out of it. But I always have to look at that individual's stress levels and lifestyle, and a mom with 4 kids is gonna look very different than someone who's single and has plenty of time to work out. Like, but with that said, I would never make anybody overtrain because then you start to tap out your nervous system. So there's a really fine balance. It's all about balance for me. But I mean, that's what I see all the time. So everyone comes to me and their nervous systems are completely overstimulated. They're in fight or flight. They have no idea how to get into that rest and digest. So we work on little habits like don't eat with technology at the table.
Yeah.
Little things like that. Because yeah, you're going into that cortisol response. I mean, a whole heap of things can happen. Sleep is disrupted, but physiologically, if your nervous system is constantly in fight or flight and your adrenals are tapped, you are not going to get the physique that you want.
Sure.
So when I tell women, watch what happens when you take a rest day. The inflammation's going to go, you're going to feel better, you're going to be more motivated and more energetic to actually get to your workout. So I kind of have a buy-in with them, right? So the majority of my work is done with, disordered type eating patterns, and body image and compulsive exercise and anxiety.
Sure.
I wish that disordered eating was now a term called eating to soothe because food has simply become a substitute for things that are missing in our lives. So it's really important. It's first of all, it's very accessible, it's easy, it's quick, it's cheap ish. So we have developed these habits to numb and distract by using food, to numb and distract from our pains by using food. And also, the messaging from diet culture has said, you must restrict, you must eat this way. So, my huge message in what I teach and what I do is I don't care who you are, there is no perfect diet, there is no perfect workout. So, what works for me will not perhaps work for you. Like, I'm not a keto person. I can't do high protein, high fat. For some reason, that doesn't work for me to change my physique, as per se. Like, we're going to look at it aesthetically.
Sure.
But when I do moderate carbs, like I'm a carb metabolist, I can eat carbohydrates, but my fat has to be low if I want to lose body fat. So that's just trial and error and experimenting over the years. But the messaging that we've gotten is what's going to work is this and what's going to work is that, and that's not necessarily true. Like, we really have to experiment with everything, right? Like, what works. But most women just don't eat enough, and when I tell them to increase their calories, oh boy. Oh
But
boy.
I'm sure when they do listen, you've won them all over because they see how things change pretty rapidly.
Yeah. And like, when I tell people, like, sometimes my girls are eating or my clients are eating, like, 350 grams of carbs on workout days, people are like, what? And I'm like, but if you balance the workouts, you balance, we have all this energy and all this stuff that we do all day long. We're moving. So, like, there's a lot of activity happening, not just in the workouts. And then you have to balance your nutrition,
Sure.
right? So they get results. Sure. So over over the pandemic, I had all these notes. I was wanting to write a book, but then I decided I wanted to write a education program for CanFit Pro. And again, it's to address the gap in fitness versus mental health. So I see a lot of clients not getting results, and I see a lot of trainers or coaches or allied health professionals not having the resources or the tools or the skill sets to address the issues um, with their clients, right? So it's so much more than a workout, and it's so much more than a diet. So I developed what we call TF4, what I call TF4. It's the Female Fitness and Food Freedom Program. And it teaches you a cognitive behavioral approach to having a better relationship with food, fitness, in your body. So I address a little secret term that I call the female fitness uh, the fitness female food and fitness disorder, where it's that constant unhealthy thought process, self-sabotaging about body and working out and dieting and body checking. So we really dive into, there's 4 modules. So originally I did it again as a like an education program. It's 4 modules where I discuss kind of the lesson. Then I have train the brain section where we do the cognitive behavioral work. We do like journaling exercises, life inventories. It just kind of makes you see things a little bit differently. Like, why isn't diet and exercise working for me? Why am I not getting the results? Why am I in this pattern? And I do reflect back on my own personal experience at the beginning. So there's 4 modules, and as you go through the modules, we kind of address like a different theme each week, and then at the end I give you kind of like the fitness, food, and body freedom formula, so that you can use those skills with your clients or with yourself. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to redevelop this program, and I have a part 2, and I think I'm just going to write a book. Well, I think that if you're struggling and having all of I call it the critical bitch voice, to be honest. Like, if you're constantly criticizing you, and I think comparison, like comparing to other people, is just such a soul sucker. And that if you're constantly fighting with your body, like, we're always at war. Like, exercise has become the only method to use to work off food or to change your body. And if you're constantly stuck in that downward cycle of, you know, hating your body and hating your workouts and feeling frustrated and lost and anxious, like, you have anxiety about going to the gym because you need to be covered up, or your bum's not a certain way, or you're feeling like your partner's not liking you the way that you are. Like, there's just, if you're hating on yourself like that and then comparing yourself, and unfortunately because of social media, we're really stuck in that cycle of comparison, then I think that it might be time to reach out and restructure your thoughts, perceptions, and behaviors around food, body, and exercise to get the results that you want physically, because it's not going to happen by working out more or restricting your calories. So you got to try something else. I think I'm going to go one step further, and maybe I don't know if you agree with this, but I'm not a big self-love person. Like, I don't want you to sit in the mirror and say, I love my body, I love myself right now, because it isn't authentic. I can't teach somebody to love themselves. What I can teach them is that body neutrality, body acceptance at this point in your life. Like, I'm okay if I'm wearing a size 10 pant now. I need to feel comfortable in the body now. Then I'm going to feel comfortable in the body in 2 weeks. I'm going to feel comfortable again. It's just about try to neutralize that. You don't have to love your body, but you certainly have to accept it. Let's get the stress response down.
Yeah.
Let's just say I'm okay. And also picking out all of the, I would rather you pick out the positive things. So what, you don't like your body from here down? You could say, hey, my mascara is looking really great
Mhm.
today. I like my hair. I'm so lucky that I got to have coffee with a friend today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So just kind of take it in the back door and switch that to just acceptance. Oh, thank you. Have a wonderful day. And, we will be referring out to you.
Oh, okay. And Tanya, I mean, just what's the best way for people to reach out to you, on Instagram, on your website?
Yeah, Instagram, on my website, or you can email me at hello@taniaatkin.com, which is really the simplest ways. But on my website, there's all, you can buy my program right on my website, because it's a self-paced program. So you don't need me. You do get a certificate. I am available for 24-hour kind of like support. So if you want to work through a module together, we can book a single session, or if you're a coach and you need a little bit of mentoring, we can do that as well. Like, you're stuck with some clients, you don't know what to do,
Sure.
we can work through that as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.